Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show, Luxees. We are your hosts. I'm Amy and I have Kat L with me. And today is a very, I don't know how to call it, like a fun. It's
Fun
kind of like a
and
fun-ish topic. It's a topic for just for laughs and also, because we can all have different thoughts about things. We don't all have to agree with everything, right? And these are just our unpopular opinions about luxury. Of course, you can have a different opinion. And of course, we also encourage everyone to please share with us if you have an unpopular luxury opinion to put it in the chat section. So we'll alternate between Kat and I, and then we'll just go over them, the points that we had. And yeah, it's going to be a nice, I don't know how
debate.
heated it will be, like the chat, but please don't get offended. But anyway, here's the
Yeah,
first
don't
one.
get offended because even yeah, okay, so we can start with this one. I have it. Okay, this is my unpopular opinion. And I'm saying it after owning it. And, there are going to be Epsom lovers, but let's say it first. Okay, so Hermès Epsom is so overrated and is actually the worst leather of all.
Actually, I love Epsom, but sure, please continue and explain why you think so.
Okay, unpopular opinion. Okay, so now you know what? I think I need to bring my Kelly here. Oh no, it's not necessary. Okay, so why do I say this? So before I own any Hermès Epsom leather bags, when I saw it from afar, I always related it to Prada's Saffiano leather. It's very similar. It's this kind of stamped leather that is quote unquote, indestructible, right? You can get rain on it, scratches won't show, and it will pretty much stay in this kind of shape all the time. And Saffiano leather is known to be that. But there's one downside to it, right? It's so plasticky looking. It feels plasticky. It doesn't give you like leather, that luxurious leather feel. So I mean, you gotta.
Who thinks it's plasticky looking though? I actually don't think it looks plasticky, but for sure it feels like it's stamped for sure. Like it doesn't feel like the natural grain of leather. I don't actually think it's plastic. If anything, I think it looks a bit matte.
Nah, it's so plasticky. It's so flat. Obviously, it's not like Saffiano leather, that kind of plasticky. But you touch it, it's just like meh. Then and it's because after owning Togo, Swift, now I've got box leather. I've got Chef. I've got what else do I have? I haven't had ever color. What else? What other leathers do I have? I can't remember now. Okay, so after touching a variety of it, okay, to me, Epsom, it's one of those basic leathers that you get at the beginning because it's so hardy. Like it's so well wearing. Okay, you're paying a lot of money of it, right, for it. So you want your leather to be kind of almost indestructible. So it just gives you that feel. And you think that, if you bump it around, it'll still look in shape, especially for the Kelly bag. You don't want it to slouch, right? So it's got all those like cheering points for it. But if you put it among all the leathers, it's really not that luxurious. It's so like, when you touch, it's all sensory, right? All your senses have to be awoken when you want to buy something so freaking expensive. Then when you actually start to put all the Hermes bags together and you put Epsom, it doesn't stand out. Okay, it's just like, yeah, okay lah. I mean, it's there, it's great, but is it so indestructible? Actually, which is why I said earlier, I want to bring my Kelly bag here. If you do get a scratch on it, it's really obvious. And it almost looks like it's scraped off.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, in some ways harder to care for than say Togo leather or Swift, because that stamping, it's almost like it's like a paint, like a coating on it. So when you get it off, it's actually off. So my Kelly bag has a slight scratch at the front, and no matter how I buff it, which is what you can do with box, it's there. So yeah, I mean, it's overrated, I'm telling you. And I have one, so I can insult my own bag. Okay.
Well, no, I think what you said, like, I don't think we like however unpopular anybody's opinion is, we can't invalidate other people's feelings about how they feel, right? So like if you feel that, oh, the touch, like the sensory feel, and the fact that, yeah, if you scratch it, you can't buff it, that's the worst leather. Like, I don't think anybody can like actually disagree with those things.
So it's my unpopular opinion. Okay, I
yeah,
feel like
totally.
no,
but I guess I also like not to counter you, but like I like it. Okay, I wouldn't say that I love Epsom, like it's my favorite leather, right? It's not like that. It's definitely like I like Epsom. I think for me there is a durability component that as long as you're don't crazy throwing your bag around, obviously it's going to get a deep scratch will never be recupered unless you I don't know if the spa can do it, if they're willing to do it, then yeah, maybe they can fix it. But for me it's reasonably durable in a sense that I'm a reasonably also a careful person. Generally speaking, I am pretty good at taking care of my things, so I never have issues with Epsom, and so that for that reason I like it. I also like the structure that it keeps very well compared to the softer leathers, right, such as Swift, Togo, Clemence. Those you really have to be careful of storing them properly. And so like for me, I feel like it's kind of like a fine balance between, is it the best leather? Like, no, in terms of like sensory feel, no, because it's a processed leather. It's quite processed, right? Every leather is processed, but this one is like even the grains are fake because it's pressed. So but I also think that by being processed, because if you think of the Chanel equivalent, which is kind of like the caviar is known to be more durable. Why? Because it's been processed, it's stamped, and it has more of a plasticky coating, that whatever the coating they put on it, right? I don't really know the material that kind of protects it, right? So it's more durable to superficial scratches, superficial damage, but anything super deep is going to be hard to it's going to be very hard to buff out, if at all possible, unlike the more natural grains, right? So I'm not like completely disagreeing with you, but to say that it's the worst leather is probably a bit harsh.
The point of today's debate and heated topic is not to agree. It's to actually like, okay, I respect your opinion, but and I'm like, but that's the point. So obviously we're not taking offense in anybody's point of view, right? So I can see some like, I love Epsom. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure.
So for you, your least favorite is Epsom?
It's my least favorite. Now that I mean, when I first got it, obviously I don't have that much experience with H leathers, right? I have Togo, which I like, and I mean, like, it's kind of typical. Togo's like the typical leather, right? It's that most every luxury house or every leather house that has that kind of grain leather. It's a little matte, something a little shiny. It's not pressed. And then every other house also has this kind of pressed leather. So it just feels like it's I'm going to say it, starter kind of leather, because it's so durable. Okay, it's so durable. Because, some of you may just go straight for the box, the Swift. But those do add an element of like care, okay? Like you just have to be more cautious. If you're okay with scratches, then you do you. But if you're paying like 5 digits, you go like, I can't get my first scratch. It's like, first scratch on your new brand new shiny car. You know what I mean? Whereas for Togo and Clemence and Epsom, they tend to be more forgiving, very much more forgiving. So, but then after collecting so many, after a while, you go like, Then you look at Chef, then you look at your Epsom, you're like, nah, Chef. So after a while, I'm less and less interested in having Epsom. Though, I mean, obviously, I'll never say no to an Epsom bag, of course. And there are some bags that Epsom just suits better. But, oh yeah, I have Clemence also, my Lindy. Now I was thinking, what other leathers did I have, right? But it is not my first choice anymore because it just doesn't give me the entire sensory experience, which is what I'm looking for. Even now, I'm like even thinking Burania. I'm actually moving towards the more challenging leathers because they add an element of that really like touch of luxe. Yeah.
Okay, that's all valid, and it's a good point. So I guess
Yeah.
you'll still
I did.
you'll
Wait,
still
sorry. I
accept
have to pull
an
this one.
Epsom leather bag, but not like like how should I say it? Like you'll accept it if there was an offer and you do like the bag, but you're not as excited about the leather choice.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I think my top pick now is Chef. I really like Chef.
That is so nice, yeah.
I think it's like a good in between of Togo and Epsom in a sense, right? Because it keeps its structure, but it still keeps an element of like that nice touch. Yeah. I feel like
all right.
At this
So
point,
don't forget.
Okay, next one. Let's go.
Yeah, tell us your unpopular opinion because we'll go through yours as well. So, okay, this is mine. The next one. Oh my gosh.
I haven't seen Amy's because I had to send.
Yeah, she hasn't seen what
all
I
of
typed.
mine to Amy's.
So I'm gonna read it out. The Hermès journey, the whole process, right, is still worth it. It's worth the wait. It's worth the money. It's worth the patience for a quota bag, especially, even though the pre-love market is technically a good deal right now. Like it's gone down so much that it's actually a good deal to do the pre-love market. You can get your bag so much faster, exactly what you want in a way, and this and that, right? But I still think that the true retail journey is still worth it. And here's the reason.
No!
Here's the reason.
Okay,
because I think if there's one thing that I've learned, even though it's extremely like, we complain, we rant, and it's extremely difficult at times. And it's long. At the end of the day, you have to have the patience of Buddha. Like you have to be so patient, and you have to really truly enjoy the process. But if there's anything that this process has really made me realize and learn the hard way, to be honest, is that in the past, I feel like there's this component of instant gratification. I want it now, and I want to get it now, and like you get it, and then like you hardly even enjoy the bag long enough. You already think about the next one. And is it wrong? No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I think it's actually a little bit of a trend to have instant gratification in everything nowadays because everybody wants it now, now, now. But at the same time, I feel like it's nice to be able to and to be forced to enjoy the process. And then you kind of learn to get used to it. And in a way, it makes you even kind of reevaluate everything else that you've done throughout the life. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I actually want to give Kat's example, but I'll give it to myself. Like, I feel like I've been really, or a lot more like strict about the how I want my collection to be. Yes, I've always wanted to stick around 20 bags, but it's more than that. It's truly like I'm really just wanting to keep exactly what I rotate the most. And the rest, it's nice to have, of course. Like I would love to just keep everything, but that doesn't serve me. And in the same manner, like to have a million pairs of shoes, that's not going to serve me. But to wear those pairs that give me the most joy, that's what counts. That's what more important to me. I always bring up the example of like when I travel, for example, I always pack my favorite things. And honestly, you can live with just a suitcase of things for a long time, even in real life, but in a bigger scale, I suppose. Like in real life, you can technically create a capsule wardrobe of things that you truly, truly enjoy and that you don't constantly have to add new things just to add new things. And I think that's why the Hermès journey has become rewarding that way is because I've been learning how to adapt to a more I don't want to call it minimal because it's definitely not minimal, but it's a more kind of like a more natural way of living instead of just like keep on thinking of the new thing and the new thing and keep adding, and then you just end up with too much and then selling. It's just not only not sustainable, but it's a super stressful process. Whereas this allows you to really take your time and to think very, very carefully what you want to add next. And I'm not going to say that it's like seamless because you obviously have the urge, especially when you're new to it and everything. But eventually, and in year 4 or 5, you're going to feel like, well, now I can really enjoy it. And now I don't have to, we use the word strategic. Well, you don't have to be even that strategic anymore because you will learn to just adapt and to just let it happen in a way. So that's why I say it's still worth it. But yeah, here, just tell me what you think.
Okay, so maybe for you in Canada, it makes sense. So I'll agree for you in Canada, but it totally does not make sense here in Singapore because it is in Singapore here, at least here, the pre-love market is really crashing. Okay, it's crashing. I'm going to use the word crashing.
We
don't
even have a very good pre-love market here. That's the thing. Like the choices are just so minimal compared to
and because it's so competitive here, it feels like the Hermès journey is cheating me. So I would say that at my 4th or 5th year, I feel like I am still being treated like a first year kid. where has that hard work honor system that I thought I was working towards keeping me going? So I feel like at this point where, obviously the economy is really tight now, the indicators of the luxury market is like boom, you can buy a brand new, and not talking about instant gratification, I'm talking about I want to get that same bag from the store, I'm willing to wait, but unfortunately I can see the brand new piece in the store for less than what you're making me work for. So I have to think back, like, I don't mind waiting. And if you can, work it out, right? Work it out and make me do the same, I'll buy and wait. So the wait is not an issue anymore, right? But the issue is they still practice the same treatment where it becomes financially not wise. Like, why would I pay 1.5 times of the bag and buy stuff that I don't really need anymore? Like, I want to buy things, but I'll buy and replace my shoes and all that, but I have to buy extra where I can just get it in the store, and not for instant gratification. It's the exact same thing. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm not that dumb. So in Singapore, I think the fact that the market, the indicator is, it doesn't make sense anymore. It's just not, it doesn't make sense to do the journey, being forced to pay more and be treated like, what happened to me being a long-term customer where I could, you give me a little bit of a, what is that word? Like, give me a bit of slack. Okay. Yeah. So I think here I don't agree. This opinion I don't agree. This opinion, unfortunately, I feel like the we're taking for a ride at this point in time for the long-term customers. It's just like, I won't say long-term. Okay, 4 years is not long-term. Like, a little bit more experience, right? We're not straight in the door, but I feel like I'm still forced to be straight in the door every single bag. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll do it at the beginning, but I'm expecting a little bit of slack. And I'll give an example because I have not bought much from Chanel, right? So it's a relationship, right? I haven't bought much from Chanel, but I have bought stuff. Like, if I look at my early days, dang, I bought a lot of bags from this girl, okay, this essay, and I buy a little ready to wear here and there. I got accessories. So overall, my profile with Chanel is pretty okay. I wouldn't say I'm a VIP, but and once a year or twice a year, I'll drop my essay a message. I say, look, I really like this bag. I haven't bought anything from you, but I don't say that, but I really like this bag. If there's anything or the color, okay, no, not this bag. Sorry, I said I like this color, green. And what my essay actually sends me like the very popular Kelly Chanel bag in the most perfect green. I'm like, I am nobody. I don't buy things all the time. This is what I'm kind of like hoping, but no, I'm still forced to be begging and begging and begging. So yeah, I don't think the journey here, if it continues on this trajectory where you got to work harder and harder and harder, is worth it here in Singapore. No, sorry. I'm going for the pre-love market.
I think, yeah, I totally understand from your perspective. And I wish that's the thing. I even mentioned it in my video today that I actually did wish that I didn't make that decision to already like tell my essay to work on it really hard to try to get me the bag, because, you know, I have noticed within the last, since I came back from Hawaii, because I tried to get the bag in Hawaii, right? Since I came back to Hawaii, it kept dropping. But then at the same time, what am I looking at? I'm looking at social media posts from all kinds of resellers worldwide, right? Like from Singapore, from the US, from here and there. And it's all outside of Canada, which is annoying, right? Like for me, it's such a harder, I have such a harder time accepting the fact that, you know, I am still paying a premium. Like one way or another, I'm going to pay a premium unless I'm able to travel there physically, right? So if I bring it back from, say, the United States, right? I just saw a comment about Fashion File. The premium in Fashion File is still quite high. Yeah. It is still quite high. And the worst thing is that the US dollar is very strong compared to Canadian. Yeah. We're literally paying 40% over for the same dollar. So it makes less sense for us here. So that's one thing. The second thing is, even if I look at Singapore luxury resellers, there's so many, right? And they are so competitive with them. I wish that I could just be there in Asia and just bring it back, because there's the whole logistics thing that I'm not comfortable with. That for me, it doesn't, it's not that I can't do it. I totally can. And I know a lot of people do it. A lot of people from Canada buy from
You're a good girl.
International. It's just that I'm just citizen. Not. Huh?
You're a law-abiding citizen.
I am very much so, yes. And the thing is, I already made the decision after I came back from Hawaii, and I told my essay, let's just do it. Let's just keep working at this bag. I'm committed to getting it. So it was a little bit kind of like I didn't want to go back in my words. Not that I couldn't, but that was the next goal, right, that we had. But anyway, my whole point about this comment, right, from my opinion about the fact that it's still worth the wait is a little bit more to do with the personal development side. I feel like it's, you know, if you are able to get to a point where you're not just forcing yourself to buy just about anything, right? You truly take your time, pick, like, yes, you still have to buy, you still have to spend the money, because your store is gonna not approve your bag if you haven't spent enough ratio. So I'm not disagreeing that we also have to spend way too much money, but it's about the process of choosing, like being true to yourself, buying exactly what is needed and that you truly love. At least try the best that's possible, because I know a lot of people also buy just to buy, which, you know, for me, that would be what I would call not smart. But you do you, like I said, it's like whatever works for you, right, strategic wise. But for me, it's a little bit about a learning process and a learning about myself to not go that route and to avoid buying things that I'm just being shown and like being told that, oh, this is very popular, it looks good, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people buy it. And then you get the incentive of, oh, it's the last one, I should buy it. It's the whole learning process of avoiding that and to stay true to yourself. And the whole like avoiding instant gratification type of feeling that you used to get when it's bag after bag after bag after bag. Now you're forced to wait for a bag, one bag a year, which is
No,
very, very hard. But at the same time, it allows you to really enjoy the bags that you just like you get every
I
time, right?
agree.
So
I agree. Like, I mean, I think the Hermes journey, we've talked about it, how as a learning for people who just love instant gratification. I love walking in the store, buy that bag, and obviously it's great. It really has transformed. So thank you, Hermes, for transforming my mindset that I can wait freaking long. But I have to tell you, there is something really, in the words in Singapore, very shock, really shock when you can just go online and buy a bag, because I did it last week. I just haven't revealed it.
okay.
Because I went online, I was like, that's it. I hate waiting.
Well, I hate waiting sometimes too. And I'm not
4
gonna say
years
that
of this nonsense.
I'm
God
not gonna
damn
say
it.
that I'm a saint, that I always do the right thing. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm learning to do the right thing, and I'm
Yeah, learning.
liking this
So
new me, you
it's
know
the
what I mean?
balance, right?
Yeah.
The constant.
It's a lot of just like the
It's a lot
growth
of
that I
tears,
feel.
and like frustration. So bag's not here yet. Oh my god. Oh, this
I
is so
mean,
funny. But I agree. Actually, I think I agree. It's there are times I say, you know what, it's worth the wait. It's a real like abusive relationship. It's like it's worth the wait. But at the same time, you're like, oh,
I wouldn't
oh
call
my
it an
god.
abusive relationship though. For me, it's like anything good is worth the wait. It is worth the patience, and it's worth the hard work to put in. Like any like I don't know why I'm gonna bring it up. It's kind of funny because I mentioned it last week. I've never watched this show. I've never even heard about it before, but someone like a cousin told us that there is like going crazy, right? The show. So I started watching Love Island USA. And I just like
I love
there
it. I love Love Island.
I'm at
Such a
this episode
trash
where they
TV.
met on video with the family, and one of the dad said to the boy, because he did something wrong, right, when he went to casa, he's like, any girl who is like really good is totally worth the wait and like the heart, like because the girl was very hard on him and very heartbroken that he did all the stuff at casa while they went away for a few days, right? So I'm like, you know what, that's right, and that's how Hermes feels like. That's totally how like I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with it too. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like pro, like, oh man, you're doing that, like you everything is right. No, but because that's the model that they use, I've actually learned to just be very like at peace with everything. Like, I'm not saying it's not hard. I think it's totally hard to be a Canadian and trying to wait for a bag every year, and it's competitive, and yet like it's not the same competition if you like just compare it in terms of like I think the total sales. I think like the big Asian cities will totally be way more than us, but at the same time there's still a lot of people that are very, very interested here, and the stock that they send us is just a lot less, so the competition still feels just as stiff, and then because they have to space it out so much longer, it just feels impossible. But at the same time, you learn to work with the impossible, and it makes it much more gratifying when it happens. And I think that's what I'm trying to describe. That's the part that's
Sounds
worth
like
it.
the Olympics. Sounds like the Olympics. It's like you see them fight. Then they reach the quarterfinals and then they lose. Then it's like every time we go into the store, it's like the quarterfinals. There's like no bag. No bag.
Okay, enough about this one. Next one. Okay, here.
Oh, okay. This is mine.
Yeah.
And again, I can say it because I have a few. Luxury sport shoes are the worst thing to buy. The worst things to buy. Yeah. If you're whether it's Chanel or Hermes or LV, which I also have, they are the worst things to buy because so many reasons. Firstly, they're not made to be sport shoes. They do not fit. Like they don't, because I do sport. Like I mean, I go to the gym often, right? So I want my sport shoes to just not expecting to run in my luxury sport shoes, but when I think sport shoes, I think of comfort and just, you know, how it wraps around the foot. It's got enough space at the front. It just feels bouncy when it needs to be. It's just like, that's a sport shoe. So when you buy luxury sport shoes, they totally, they hit it by miles away from the goal, okay? Because it's just so, like, it doesn't have the right fit at the heel. It scratches at the back of the heel. It's a little bit too wide at the front, too narrow at the front, too long. I mean, like, they just need to employ people from the sports line, get a couple of those guys, triple their pay, and then make proper luxury sport shoes. Plus, luxury sport shoes, I mean, you pay a lot for it. So, I mean, let's just not talk about the money, right? Just talk about the shoe itself. I haven't found the right luxury sport shoe. I've tried Chanel. I have the Hermès the bouncing ones. And that's the best of all I've tried so far. But it still hits them, like, misses the mark. Then, oh my God, my first one from LV. Oh, what a nightmare. The way the insole is like put, I don't know what the people did in that shoe. It's a nightmare to wear. So anyway, yeah, they are the worst things to buy. Okay, don't spend your money on luxury sport shoes.
So I partially agree with this comment, only that I feel like the reasons why luxury fashion houses make sports shoes, it's just to make sports looking shoes, because they're really just lifestyle shoes to me. It's just to wear to look good while you're running errands, running around your city, going to work, whatever, commute, but not technically for any real sports. Like, I'm not gonna wear that go to play tennis or play badminton or to go for my marathon. Like, you know, not that I do
For
it.
sure, for sure. I don't think I would do that. But I think I would wear my sport shoes like okay, so I also wear my sport shoes. So I see this one like every day about town. So I do wear my sport shoes walking around as well, right? Because sport shoes do have that comfort level of, you know, enough bounce, enough, you know, cushioning. And they don't look like orthopedic sneakers, okay? So at least they have that, you know, element of still looking good, but still giving that, you know, hugging element to your shoes. I'm not gonna run in them for sure, but I expect them to be at par in terms of for everyday walking. So yeah, they don't do it as well. They're like, oh, what the heck is this?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with this one, because I haven't had a ton of luck with shoes. I mean, I feel like when I say that they're good is just because they're not literally killing me. Like, if they literally are killing me, I would have already sold them. But if I can kind of like get away with them for like a few hours a day, then I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. You know, it's a luxury sports shoe, right? So they're not real shoes. But I guess that's the I don't know why we do that. Like, you know, they say fashion or to look good is pain, but that's like literally, even with sports shoes, which are supposedly comfortable already, they still give me pain regardless. Right? And it's so like so much more expensive, right? Like 10 times oh my more
gosh,
at
they're
least.
Making sport shoes. Like, they're making comfy, casual sport shoes, and compared to their loafers and, you know, slip-ons and sandals, these are like, oh my gosh, comfort. That's the first thing I think of when I look at these sport shoes. I'm not thinking about running in them, right? I'm thinking about doing my holidays, right? When I'm working on a holiday, going for a holiday trip, and I'm like, oh, I can wear my Chanel sport shoes. No, I'll die in them. Okay, give me my Nike, give me my Reebok, or I see a New Balance, like, nah.
I know.
Converse, even Converse, which has totally no padding on the inside, totally flat, feels better than a luxury sport shoe. Like, what? Guys, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Maybe, I have to give it to you, that one. Like, I actually don't like, I told myself no more sneakers. I bought 2 pairs last summer from Chanel. I only started wearing 1 pair because like that 1 pair is already like, oh, I can only wear 3-4 hours before it starts giving me pain. And it's not about breaking them in. It's not even that.
Yeah,
It's
there's
the
something
way
about
they
it, right?
are.
The way they make the maybe the slope at the back of the heel like a little bit too high. Like, dudes, do you even wear them? Or they make like the maybe the weight of it is like, why are these sports shoes extra heavy? Like, okay, so this is unpopular. I'm sure some of you like the luxury
Oh
sports
yeah,
shoes.
we have some
And
subbies here that love their Chanel sports shoes for going to the gym and everything. You know, it's fine. You know, I feel like
God, I
you know,
agree.
we all are different. And there was one podcast that I was just listening to earlier. They say that nowadays, because you know, I think we're so used to being like you only work out when you're actually working out, whereas I think before, people that used to work in the farms and stuff like that, they're literally working out all day. They're doing work, right? So their muscles and even their feet are a lot stronger. I think these days, like the modern society, we don't have the strongest feet muscles, and I think that's partly
Mm.
maybe one of the reasons why we can't adapt to it just about every shoe, unfortunately. And I feel like I but yeah, for me, I feel like the luxury sports shoes are just made for the to have a branding on it and to look like you're wearing something luxurious. But to me, there's still a lifestyle shoes, and they definitely there's no. I feel like there's no
This
comfort
is
technology in it.
Yeah, that's why. But you know how they could transform it if they just hired a bunch of Adidas dudes who designed the shoe. Wow. Seriously, I mean, you add that, it will fly off the shelves. I mean, they're already flying off, but some of them maybe getting returned and not the customer not coming back. I think I agree with Francisca. They're fine for errand or so, but that's it. Like, you can't like.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle shoe.
But I do agree with somebody that said that Chanel is better than Hermes. I mean, I have tried the Chanel ones, and on just when you put your foot in and you walk a little bit, they definitely are a step better than Hermes. Hermes is, I think they're just too new to it and they just haven't figured it out. But anyway, give them a chance. But at this point in time, no, man, they're the worst things to buy.
Mm. Okay, so I'll move to the next. I thought about this one very long because I almost felt like I could flip-flop between the two sides, but I decided on
Mm.
this one. So it used to be that Chanel classic flaps, no matter when and how, it's always worth the investment because they, you know, they're very expensive to begin with, yes, but they always seem to keep their value very well, especially if you keep them for a long term and then if you need to resell it. But I feel like at this point, like truly at this point, after so many crazy years of insanity price increases, like those are not even price increases. Those are like literally, I don't know how you even call it, like inflation, like terrible inflation. That I don't think it's the case anymore. I feel like it's lost its capability and this quality of like a true classic that is not just classic because of the look of the bag and the history of the bag, but also that it's always going to be so coveted that no matter how you know, whenever you buy it, that you could still always recoup your money in terms of like resale. And I just think it's lost that. It's totally lost that. I mean, there might still be people that believe in that, but I just don't see that continuing anymore. And I'm not saying that don't buy them. Obviously, like if you like the bag, you're going to buy it, right? But I just don't think that we can rely on the fact that they will keep its resale value. Maybe you will still be able to sell it and not lose a ton of money, but I don't think you can make money out of it anymore like it used to be. And that's where I kind of like, yeah, I thought this was the trend now, and not, it's maybe not even just a trend, it's probably what's happening and going forward.
So you think that this one, you're talking about buying them now, so you're paying the
Oh yeah, totally
17,000,
now, like retail.
18,000. Then I agree. Because I think it's too costly to spend, and over time, the market's just flooded with them. right now. It's
I don't.
no.
Yeah, it's flooded, but it's. Is it really the flooded that like? It's always been flooded in a way, I feel, but it's never been something that I think, oh yeah, it's gonna lose value. Like this is what I think now. It's maybe not gonna lose at a ton of value like a Celine bag would, but it's definitely not gonna gain that much value, if at all. And to buy just for that reason would be totally insane. That's what I think. So, in the past, I've known certain individuals that would only buy classic flaps. Their whole collection is just classic flaps or minis, and that's all they buy because yeah, they love the style. But okay, in my humble opinion, I feel like you can have maybe like 20, 30 classic flaps, but they're still all the same bag. So like truly, do you really need more than 2 or 3 colors? That's what I think, right? So I feel like these individuals are probably buying them because at the back of their minds, they're also retaining value and that they can be resold and made a profit if they ever need to, right? Like it's not that you're buying it to do that, but at the back of your mind, you know that you have this insurance. But I feel like this insurance is no longer there, especially at the retail currently that's happening in store. Like there's no way that this is still the trend.
And when you mean long-term investment, you're expecting to say, okay, let's just take an example. So if you say I buy my classic flap now at 15,000, this gorgeous pink color classic flap, caviar leather, small size, 15,000, whatever. And so when you say long-term investment, you're expecting that value of the bag to go up?
Well, yeah, because I mean, look at what happened if you bought, I don't know, just like maybe if you bought a classic flap 5 years ago, that would have been what, 2019.
Yeah, I think this can apply to Hermes as well, because it
Probably.
can apply. Yeah, because you see, the only way you can. So I know I'm flipping it a little bit, but I agree. I totally agree. Long-term investment wise, if you can get back even your cost in 20 years, I think you are lucky for Chanel. Like it's like if you buy it 15,000 now, 20 years from now, if the bag's like 30,000, nobody's gonna buy your 20-year-old bag.
Exactly. Nobody's gonna pay that kind of money.
So, but it can apply to Hermes as well. So Hermes, you buy your bag at 20K now, let's say 20K, and then 20 years from now, you're not gonna get 3 times that price. I'm sorry.
I can't predict how Hermes is because I haven't been versed in Hermes as long.
Look at the resale market of all the vintage Hermes bags.
I know, but I have been buying Chanel way longer, right? And like Chanel has always been like that. That even if you were like, it didn't matter how much the retail was, at least pre-pandemic years, right? It didn't matter how much it was still too expensive anyway. Every year we complain about how expensive they are, but it didn't matter because you kind of have the faith and the knowledge that it will keep its value and be a long-term good investment regardless. But I think now it's no longer the case because as you just said, and exactly what I thought, like if I see a post on like an Instagram account that's trying to sell a classic flap for 20,000, there's no way anybody would entertain it. If it is maybe close to retail, maybe slightly under, yes, I would go for it if I don't already have one. But that is if, like, I even at this price, like 15,000, let's say they sell it at 14,000, I would still be like, ugh, like I wouldn't even really want to buy it. And that's how I'm feeling about it right now.
Yeah.
That there's no way
today's pricing is
like that
it's
anymore.
no longer. So don't buy it.
Only buy
but
it.
There'll be
Really
some people, like you said, right, this opinion. Some people say no, I think it's still okay because it's if you don't buy it now, you if you always wanted to buy it from the store, I'm sure there's some that say if you don't buy it now, you won't get it. Which also I agree. Like so, I understand what you're saying is flip flop, but for long term, for sure, no way. There's just too many. Yeah,
that's why I say do not buy it for just resale value alone. Buy it if it's your dream bag, you've been saving for it for years and you're almost there. Yeah, buy it still. Buy it. But don't expect it to be like, oh, if I ever need to resell it, I'll make money off of it. you'll be lucky if you don't lose money on it. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
This is my opinion. Celine is over. I'm sorry. Like, Celine is one of those brands that has always been under the radar. And then at one palm, they had the mini, well, at least for me, what I remember is the mini luggage trend, the Phantom, that was a peak. And then the box, and then it died again. And then they had the K-pop era when it went up again for a short period, and then now it's like sort of like, I don't hear anybody talk about Celine. I don't see any unboxings. I don't see anything. Nobody talks about Celine. So I think Celine's time to shine, or like it's shining. It's over. It's over, and maybe for some people it's a good thing, but some of you might still think that it's still shining. But I think, yeah, get resale.
So when I think of the brand Celine, like the current brand, not the before, like the Phoebe Philo era, but like the way they've kind of had like a moment with all the Korean influencers, and I mean the Korean celebrity influencers, and just like the way they've marketed their brand, and then was able to kind of get quite popular for a little while. I don't know if it's over, but at the same time, I've never really gotten the like, I don't understand the hype. That's where I come from. I'm like, okay, like it's nice, like it's not nice, but it's just another brand. Like that's how I look at it. I never really got the hype. That's where I'm at.
It was so hyped up, right? It was like everywhere.
Yeah.
And I almost got one, but at the same time, I was also like, thank you, Hermès, for pulling me back. But then when I stepped away and I looked from the outside, I'm like, yeah, I think it's one of those. It's one of those. Just wait, just wait. And now I'm looking at it and it's like, yep, everybody's sick of it. I think with any kind of brand that has a sudden surge in exponential popularity, they die really fast. Okay, I won't use die, but it just tapers so quickly that you kind of think back and go, well, is it worth buying, or should I have just wait it out? Because their things are not cheap. And I picked Celine. I mean, there are so many brands that have this hype. Like Gucci is definitely one of them. But Celine had such a, like, everybody was just buying Celine. I swear, I think at one point, all the videos that I was watching and the people just talking about Celine, it was just like Celine was everywhere.
Yeah.
Thanks to K-pop, right? Lisa. But everyone, and for the first time in my life, I see lines outside Celine. I was like, what is up with Celine?
So it's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna ask you the same question in two more, because you said Celine's time to shine is over, right? And I personally never really understood. I just feel like there's always, as a company, you always want to, like, market it as best as you could, right? Because you're a business, you're allowed to make money, obviously. But like personally, I just never found the appeal for me. Like I think other than like pop culture, I don't see any other appeal. So like pop culture is in, like, if you kind of like these celebrities that they're using, then since they're wearing it, then you want to kind of feel like you're part of the club, so you would buy them.
Yeah.
That's one way of doing it, I suppose. But other than that, like as a brand, that's the thing. I don't want to be harsh, but at the same time, as a brand, I feel like they've been all over the place a little bit. Like the designs of their bags, if we're just talking about bags strictly speaking, it's kind of been like,
I mean, I like this, some of this stuff, but if I look at it, it's So when they were having that moment, right? So I was like, okay, let's go check it out. So I went in and I did see a few of the bags, and it's the kind of thing where you have to wonder, do you really like it? because you really like it, or do you like it because it's the hype that's getting to you, or there's okay, so genuine like there's these two things, right? I think I went. Have I bought any Celine? I have actually not throughout the whole hype. I went in several times and I still could not get it, and I thought I like it, and I do. I mean, I actually really like their Celine Triomphe bag, but the price was just like, not sure. It had a price where I was taking a step back a little bit. But then because they have expanded their range during this moment, that they had bags of a variety of pricing, right? They had the sort of like a moon-shaped bag. They had a little nano bag. And I thought, no more entry prices, you can just get in with the pop culture. But you're right, you're sort of like, it's not 100% convinced unless you want to follow the K-pop and all, and you really suddenly feel like you're the Celine girl. So anyway, I know there's some people here who love Celine, but anyway, I think their time to shine is over.
I'm going to answer just this question because it's about Celine. So Shaiza is asking, Amy, what about the Chanel? Sorry. What about the Celine jacket that you tried on? So it's the black one. I don't know if they have a name. Oh, yeah, they have a name. But it's still quite generic. It's the black. It's slightly cropped, not super cropped, a bit boxy. And has like 3 or 4 buttons. I think it's 3. And it's I still like it. I think I have nothing against Celine, honestly speaking. I just don't think that I'm the type that will buy a lot of Celine things, even if I'm interested in 1 or 2 things. Like this jacket, I still like it because on the outside, like far away, it just looks like a nicely structured and well fitted and still boxy, so it's comfortable, not so like tight, right? Type of jacket. So it still looks like a classic jacket from afar. So I still like it. What I'm trying to say when I said that I don't understand the hype is that there's also all kinds of like, I don't know, logo caps and t-shirts and just the bags themselves. They've kind of been so different since the change of direction, right? Like it used to be all the I guess the robot face and like the whatchamacallit, the other one, the trio, and now it's all the Triomphe lock, and that's fine too. But then they also have this line with I forgot the names, but anyway, the line with this shape, right? And I just haven't, you would think that after many years you would be like, oh yeah, no, I like it. Like the more you see it, the more you like it. I still haven't really loved it yet.
Loved it. I think that's the word. Like, I mean, you like it after a while. When you see something long enough, you can sort of like, yeah, I think it's okay. You get used to it, right? You get used to it. You sort of start to accept it, and you're like, yeah, I think it's not too bad. But it's not love. You gotta like love it, right? You're like, oh, you gotta like, wow, I like this. I like it. I love it.
Almost like if someone were to offer it to me. Let's say there was someone resold it in the pre-love, but it's brand new, right? Let's just say, even if it was like 1,000, I still don't know if I would buy it. That's how much I don't have any special love for it. I'm just not opposed to it if you have it and that you love it. But for me, I just don't see the appeal. And that's where I'm coming from. I think one jacket here, one jacket there, or whatever piece that I always have my eye on, I'm not opposed to buying those. I still haven't pulled the trigger though, because I don't know why. I guess at the end of the day, maybe it's still just the fact that it's not a Chanel jacket. Maybe that's what it is. Like I would still rather, even if I don't know how long it is, when I'll come across one that is not going to break my bank and this and that. Like eventually I'll still have to make the splurge, but maybe because it's still not a Chanel jacket and I'm just not excited enough to go for it. Like I like it, but I'm not excited enough to buy it full price, right? Because it's still like a $5,000 jacket, right? It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one from Vivi. I'm gonna put this point. Since Lisa is moving to LV and not sure about Hedy, Celine is not doing well. But they'll have a cosmetic line. Okay, maybe I'll check out their cosmetic line. We'll see. We'll see.
But see, cosmetics, you would check it out because you already like makeup to begin with. So it doesn't matter what brand, as long as there's like a bit of variety, you'll try it out. For me, handbags or maybe even clothing, I don't treat it the same way, because cosmetic, when you put it on your face, no one's gonna be like, oh yeah, your Chanel eyeshadow is so nice. Not like that, right? But
It's the packaging.
when you wear a component of the brand that is definitely recognizable, for me, that if I don't have that loyalty to the brand, I just won't. So I think cosmetics is a different story though. Yeah. Okay. Next, I'll move to the next now. So I've always thought of this one, and I've said it a few times. Luxury backpacks, doesn't matter how big, how small, nano size, large size, travel size, whatever size, they're not worth it. They're actually the worst thing to buy, because I tried a few times. It never worked out. And they're so expensive. Okay, backpacks are usually slightly, like their price slightly lower than a regular, let's say, flat bag or a regular tote maybe. But it's only slightly less, and it's still thousands of dollars. And yet the practicality is just not there. If I need a backpack, I'll buy a real backpack, like a real, not luxury brand backpack. I can't even give you an example. Actually, I can. The one that I use all the time for my trips to Hawaii, it's actually from a brand called Le Sport Sac. The Sport Sac. You guys know it. I'm sure you do. It's a nylon company. For the longest time, I didn't know what country this brand came from. It's USA, so it's a great nylon company. Other than Longchamp, this brand is also one of my favorite in terms of the kind of low end luxury. And those backpacks are amazing. They're lightweight, and I don't need to worry about where I throw them, on the floor, in the toilets, whatever. Like, just so practical. But with luxury backpacks, oh my gosh, no. Thousands of dollars, no. Made of leather, oh my gosh, they're gonna not wear very well. They're gonna be heavy. And it doesn't matter what brand it is, because I don't care if it's not a Chanel or Hermès backpack, even if it's a Prada, or I don't know, any other brand, LV. No, they're worse. They are a waste of money.
Yeah, I actually agree. And I bought a few. I think it's what is that? That's the word for it. It's like
it's like the sports shoes.
Yeah, it's like sports shoes,
you're
but no, it's
trying
sort of
too
like
hard to be a sports shoe, but it's not really. It's a lifestyle bag still, and it's trying to be a backpack when it can't be. It's not.
It's like a fantasy purchase. Like it sounds good in your head. You think you'll use it, but in actuality, they are not designed to be backpacks. Because I think when it comes to very, very practical everyday things, luxury houses just miss the mark. I'm sorry. Backpacks. But then again, I think there's some here. Maybe the men who, if you're watching, but no, I love my luxury backpack, because that's the only that's maybe one of the few bags that they have. Because if you look at the men's line, it's all backpack, pouch. So I'm sorry,
but that's different too, because men don't typically wear handbags. Don't typically, right? They sometimes do, but they don't always wear one. And so for them, a backpack is kind of like a handbag. So I think they put up with it, because we put up with our bags. They're not always practical.
True.
Like the nano bags,
But it's still
nothing. So why do we love it so much, right? Because I think there's a component that you love it enough that you just let those things slide. And I feel like for men, that's the reason. I'm just a hypothesize. Like I just think that's probably the reason. Like that's my reasoning, but. Okay. The other thing is, a lot of people are just trying to like, okay, Tumi backpack, right? Tumi backpack. But Tumi is actually a brand that makes luggage and backpacks. So they are actually specialized to do those things. So even though they are a more luxury brand in terms of like the main brands that are available in the shopping malls, right? They are still a specialized company that makes these kinds of practical
Well,
accessories.
you can argue that LV is a luggage. Like it's a luxury. I mean, the heritage isn't it luggage and cases? But yeah. Well, I think they have the best backpacks, honestly. They among all the luxury brands, because I tried the Chanel one. It's totally
Oh my
fashion, like
gosh.
so not
No,
useful. Oh my god.
don't even go there.
Lambskin backpack. Get a life, okay?
The
Crazy.
last
Yeah,
backpack that I
lifestyle.
bought
That one
from
lifestyle
Chanel.
for sure. Lifestyle.
Mm. So anyway, the last backpack that I bought from Chanel, and I almost never shared that story, but eventually I talked about it in passing, right? I said I bought because I was really, really obsessed with the Gabrielle at the time, and I couldn't get.
Mm.
No, wait, I think I got a regular Gabrielle by that time already, the mini or the small. They call it the small. And then eventually I thought I was so obsessed with the Gabrielle line that I bought the backpack, but I immediately regretted it and then just tried to sell it the next day right away. And luckily at the time, because the Gabrielle line was so hot, that was early 2018, I think, that someone on Facebook just literally snatched it off of me. So I was really, really happy. I just literally resold it at what I bought. I just wanted my money back because I just realized what a horrible mistake I had made. And it was very expensive, right? So I just don't think backpacks are really the way to go. Doesn't matter the brand. But
Yeah.
if you own one, just still use it, okay? Anyway, the next one, I feel like, ooh, that's a steamy one. Anyway, okay, here.
This one, huh? This one. Now, this is from me. I say this is my unpopular opinion, okay? No matter what everybody says. And I know they did a horrible advertisement, but I still think Balenciaga is still worth buying. And their bags are actually great, okay? By the way, they relaunched the city bag, the motorcycle bag, and I was checking out their website.
You know what
Here
I
we go.
love
Here we
when
go.
you said,
They're all coming in. They're all coming in. They're all like, no.
I love the fact that you had to disclaim because obviously there's always going to be someone who's like, what? How dare you even talk about this brand, right? Like, but that's the thing.
I mean, the rodeo's not that bad, but obviously I don't like Kim Kardashian, so which is why I'm still like, I'm not gonna buy that bag. Though I actually think they did a better job than Hermes redesigning the Kelly. Okay, it has so good pockets. It has a whole, compartment that people took a look at the Kelly and said, let's fix the Kelly and make a better bag. Except that the first person that they used for the advertisement was Kim K. I'm like, no, I'm not paying the advertisement for Kim K. Because I'm pretty sure they paid a pretty penny to Kim K, okay, and it's part of the bag. But yeah, I think their bags are great. I think Balenciaga bags are great.
Actually, okay, one question first before I go about my comment. Have you actually tried because you were talking about the Rodeo, right? The new bag.
Yeah. I
Okay. Have you actually tried it?
Yes, I have. So
Oh,
I
okay,
tried
good.
it in store. They have it in store. I tried it. The only thing that held me back, okay, there are two things that held me back. Firstly, it's kind of still quite expensive. 5,000 or 6,000, I think. So knowing that you probably can get it half off at the pre-loved market, definitely something that I'm like, maybe. But I think of everything that they redesigned, I was not 100% convinced with the strap. The strap that carries such a bigger bag, it's a little thin. So my gut feel tells me that if they do really well with this bag, they may fix that. Like how they fixed the mini Lindy for some who say it's the strap's too long. So now they shorten the mini Lindy's strap. So it has a shorter strap right now. So if you're tall, maybe you'll be like, oh no. But if you are tinier, then the strap is just perfect now. So I think with the Balenciaga Rodeo bag, I feel like that strap, it's a little too thin for the whole weight of the bag. So if they extend, like thicken it a little bit, I think it'll be perfect. But anyway, the price definitely is number one reason. But between the Rodeo and the City bag, I'd still buy the City bag. I have I feel a little nostalgic to the City bag before all the drama that went down with the brand. That was one of my favorite bags. I used it till it disintegrated. So it's a great bag.
You're allowed to do that.
I can see all the moms at the back like, no. No.
So okay, the reason why I asked you why if you have tried it, because I tried to ask about it. They didn't have any stock, not even one, so I couldn't even try it. But I didn't try super hard. The Edmonton Mall is the biggest mall in Edmonton, and that's when I was at the Balenciaga store, just trying to see if I could see it in person. They didn't have anything, so I couldn't really judge it in person. I could only judge from a picture still, right? Because I've never actually even held it. But from the pictures, I do agree that it's a. When you said redesign, right? I'm like, oh, you redesign, you mean copy, right? But anyway, it's just like it's we're copying each other, getting inspired by each other, right? It's fine because it's still a different bag. I would say this because when you mentioned Kim K, I was like, I didn't even know they used her as their brand ambassador. But for me, when I so disregarding the drama, obviously we have to disregard that just because we're strictly speaking of the design of the bag. I wouldn't even look at who was the ambassador of if I really like a bag because of its practicality, functionality, it wouldn't really matter who they use in marketing. Just like if I really like Celine, for me, it wouldn't be because of Lisa. It's just because I like Celine. So that's how I go about it when I
agree.
When I go through my reviews of all the reviews I've done of my bags, I don't say that, oh, it's because this person was I don't say that. I just say like, okay, this zipper is like that, or this closure is like that. I go about the features more, the functionality more. So if I were just strictly speaking, looking at the features of the bag, I have to say it is a good one. I still have to try it because I haven't. Maybe I'll get a chance to do it finally because I'll be in Asia in fall, so maybe they'll have more stores and more stock. But yeah, I don't know if it's worth buying though. I'll still have to try it for myself. I'll still have to try it.
So I agree with you that I don't look at the ambassador when I want to buy a bag. But it happened to be for this ambassador that I won't buy the bag.
Oh, okay.
So the other way around. Not that I'm like, oh my God, Kim, no. It's the other way, like, what? Because you have to factor the fact that the bag's price includes paying her.
Oh, well.
I mean, marketing.
It's paying her or paying someone else, though.
I know, but I can't. I'm not a fan of Kim K, unfortunately, because it's all fake everywhere. She is not.
She's a very smart person. Though. You can't.
She's damn smart. Okay, I mean, she's clever. She's a freaking entrepreneur. But I think, as I look at her, she's not for me. Okay, so this is controversial. She's not a good role model from a physical perspective. Like, girl, you cause BBLs, okay? So I'm like, no.
Maybe.
And then
so,
now
yeah,
you are. Yeah. And now you have shrunk yourself to be stick thin, and yeah. So I'm like, no, I'm not buying this bag because you. It's the other way around.
Fair enough.
The other way around. So I'm like, no.
Fair enough. I don't even know anything about her.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Aside from her clever, being a lawyer, and she's an advocate of everything, but really. So, unfortunately, yeah, Kim K, do not, the other way around. So yes, so anyway, everybody's quiet about Balenciaga.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so, I mean, they did themselves wrong. Like it's gonna be really hard to fix. So whatever, it's sort of like you make one mistake and then it's so hard to fix and move away from, right? Don't know how are they gonna do it, because I yeah, unless they like get rid of the entire team and revamp the whole thing, do a 360, because the brand itself has history. Like when what's his name? Nicola Guest, is that the guy, Nicola, or is it Marc Jacobs did the motorcycle, like the city bag, where they really created this it bag. It had none of this drama, but right after this drama, like this new team of trying to be very hyped up and getting those viral bags and viral things, I think they went overboard. So this whole team needs to go, because there's nothing to do with the brand. I feel like just get rid of this whole group and restart, which is what I think they're trying to do with the Rodeo bag and bringing back the city bag. I think they're trying to bring back this nostalgia, which could work. I'm like looking at it again. I'm like, yeah, city bag's back. I like it. They redesigned the bag a little bit. They got rid of the frills and stuff. So probably have to see. Oh, great point from HU. Totally agree. It'll take a long time. Yep, that's true. John Galliano's racism as well. As well as Dolce and Gabbana's D&G. Like, people are buying their makeup.
Yeah, I think, as we also learned in a previous luxury live show, apparently Balenciaga didn't use the same advertisement campaign in Asia, which is why a lot of people in Asia still buy the brand, because they're kind of not really even aware of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it very strange.
Social media, we totally would not know. Without social media, right? It came out, and also similar to Dolce and Gabbana, because nobody here I wouldn't say nobody. If you're on social media, you will know. So it's sort of like meshed up, so you don't actually you think that you know, but actually in reality, like, the masses, you don't know. Dolce and Gabbana got like they did something in one of their fashion shows or something. So they have been in and out of controversy for so long, but people are still buying it. People are like, ooh, look at my Dolce & Gabbana flower power powder. Okay.
I don't know if it's a really I don't know if it's a really popular brand here, though.
It's actually pretty popular in Asia. Like,
okay, so that's the thing. Anything is popular in Asia. That's the thing. I feel like Asia has everything, and I always like, every time I go back to Hong Kong with my mom, which is only every few years, right? I just like, oh my gosh, the amount of retailers, and they're huge stores, not like a small little one. Like here, that's what it is. It's a small little one if there's one small section of that brand. And obviously, when it's that small, they're not going to have all the stocks and all the new stuff as fast and as readily available. And so when I go to Asia, I'm just mind blown. There's so much, and there's so many brands I don't even know, and I didn't even know it's so popular. And so I feel like, you know what, Balenciaga is very popular, maybe because they have a big store here, like not a big store, but they have like their own section that is big enough that I still notice it. Whereas Dolce, I definitely don't notice it, right? So like, the fact that they did this, it's very, very bad, because it's unfortunate, because people don't forget. And in fact, when I was typing, I can't remember where I typed it. Oh yeah, I was typing the tags. I was like typing, and then you know how they auto correct you, or they auto finish the line for you, just depending on what you wanted to type. And I think it was saying, "Is Balenciaga still canceled?" That's what I saw. Like that they auto finished it for me, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yes." People are still talking about that. Definitely, yeah, because yeah, they did it.
It'll take a
Really,
while. It'll take a long.
yeah,
It'll take a while until the buying age crowd like say, yeah, whatever lah. We forgotten and don't care anymore. Then you got a new crowd, right? So you're right. It'll take a decade. So
yeah,
slowly lah.
yeah. All right, so here's my save the last one for this one because I feel like this is a very unpopular opinion. Some people might agree though, but I think that Birkins and Kellys, so these like bougie and very I don't know, some people call it what do you call it? You call it you call the Kelly something snooty.
Snooty.
Anyway, yeah, these snooty bags, right? They're actually very practical. I think they are. I feel like I cannot think of so whether you choose Birkin or Kelly, right? I cannot think of any other single bag that you can really take from day to night and still be everything in between. Like you can look minimalist, you can look quiet luxury, you can look super not quiet luxury at the same time. You can be like, if people know this brand, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a Birkin, right? You can take it to a wedding, you can take it to a supermarket, you can literally almost virtually take it anywhere. And I feel like there's no more practical bag than the Birkin and the Kelly.
I agree for the Birkin, but the Kelly, I don't think it's that practical.
Kelly, there's also Hotone as well, so it's really just like. And there's the mini, like the Kelly, you can choose different size and different structure.
You think Birkin? Yeah, okay, I have to agree with Julie for this one. Like Birkin for a wedding?
Some people do.
I know. It's so. I'm like.
Some people do.
Girl,
trust me. Some people do. Like there are some people that work their ass off for just one bag in their collection, and that's the bag that they're gonna use.
Yeah, for the wedding. I think it's too casual for the wedding. But okay, in any other setting, Birkin does go. Like I think wedding just seems like you just need a cuter like clutch bag, like Kelly, like a Kelly mini Kelly. Like weddings just to me, like it's a little bit too, even the small, unless you got a 20, then that's a different thing.
Well, I wouldn't bring a Birkin 25 to a wedding because it's too big of a bag to begin with. Even the 25 is kind of a stretch. But I totally think that some people do. And that's the beauty of what I feel like they are probably the most well-rounded bags out there. Because I was thinking, okay, maybe the classic flap can be like that. But no, I think the classic flap is actually too constricting. And it's actually quite annoying to get in and out of it as compared to a Birkin or a Kelly. I really do think so. Maybe the closest thing to Birkin and Kelly for me would be the mini flap. I think the single flap is actually quite much better than the double flap. So yeah, I would maybe throw in the mini flap into the mix. For me, those are actually quite practical bags. You wouldn't think so intuitively because, well, they cost so much money. You wouldn't want to damage it. And it's showy. It's like showing off, right? But if you don't think that way, like if you're not really thinking that way and you're using it purely because you truly enjoy your bag, and people will think what they think, right, at the end of the day. But if you really truly enjoy your bag, it's literally the most practical bag that you can own. That's what I think.
Everybody's not agreeing with you and the Birkin and the wedding.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you've seen someone bring their Birkin at the wedding, okay?
I mean, I have. And I've definitely looked at, I've definitely seen it, and I've definitely gone like, wow.
Well, yeah, there's actually always going to be some aunties that bring their Birkin, and they're so proud of it. You can't fault them for it. Like, come on, like, why are you going to judge someone for doing what they like? Like, it's not even yours. Just let them be. Yeah.
But we can't. We like to look at bags, and you can't help it. Your head's naturally forming a judgment or an opinion.
But you're judging the person instead of the bag.
Come on. I'm sure when you're
You're
looking
like
at somebody's
literally
bag,
judging the
there's
person
something
because of the bag.
formulating in
That's
your
so
head.
terrible.
When I'm not, and it's not necessarily bad. Like there's no way my brain's totally silent when I'm looking at a bag. When I look at a bag, I'll be like, nice bag, interesting outfit. But I'm not judging. It's like I'm observing and formulating a comment for
That's
myself.
the same thing. Come on. That's the
But when
same
you look,
thing.
it's like somebody who likes to look at jewelry. They're probably formulating jewelry. I'm formulating the bag. So I'm like, wow, bag at a wedding. Guess it works.
You know, like that's the thing with me though. Like personally I wouldn't do it, but if someone did it, I would just go and congratulate them and like tell them how nice they look. Because honestly, there are some people, and I'm not okay, this is not a judgmental comment, but it's maybe a something that they're not aware is that like I maybe the reason why they do that, like bring say a Birkin to a wedding, is because maybe they don't have a lot of fashion sense. Like if you were a little bit more kind of like fashion minded, you would think of like bringing a smaller bag, like a clutch or whatever, right? Kind of more delicate. But I don't think that these people that bring a Birkin to a wedding are trying to show off either. Like I feel like they're just doing it because they really love their bag and they just really want to wear their bag. Like let them be.
I totally agree. That one I agree. I totally agree. You can bring anything, but the fact that you're bringing the Birkin, you're gonna get looks, okay? And I'm gonna pull all this out. I think this is true. It's like if I'm in a, let's say, if I'm in like I'm at a sports event, I probably am scanning the crowd. Like I don't even see anything, right? But if I'm in the mall, because I like looking at bags, I am looking at bags. Okay, I don't even look at the face of the person. I'm like, ooh, 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 look at that. Look at that. And it's just because you love it, right? So there's some comments about but looking at bags, subconsciously you're scanning. Yeah, it's so because it's so subconsciously looking. So if I see somebody bring a Birkin to a wedding, I look at the bag and then I'll be like, wow, at a wedding. Because if I see somebody bring a Birkin to a marathon, I'll be like, wow, it's at a marathon. girl.
It maybe I don't know if it's more of a because I feel like it's maybe more of like a Asian auntie thing. I feel like I've seen people bring a Birkin to a wedding. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Okay, and
so if I keep my Birkin until I'm like an older auntie, okay, a little bit more with the years, yeah, I'll bring my Birkin. Screw you.
There you go. You're gonna judge yourself then.
I'll bring my tie back. I'll be the aunt. Oh, I know. Oh my god, I know when I'll do it. When my niece gets married, because she's like super young, I'll be that auntie.
You're gonna be the auntie bringing her Birkin to her wedding.
and then she'll be so embarrassed. She'll be like, oh my god, my auntie, she has to bring her Birkin to my wedding.
But yeah, I've seen it, and I mean, it's not just the Birkin. I've seen people bring like a Speedy or Neverfull. Like they're pretty big bag. Like that would be the equivalent of the Birkin and Kelly, but LV. I've seen people do that. I've seen people bring a jumbo to weddings, and like that's why I said earlier. I'm like, maybe there's just like a little bit less of a either fashion common sense or like maybe they just don't care. That could be it too. Like they just want to wear what they want to wear.
Once you're at the auntie age, you don't care. When you are. I don't know why we always end up at this because men, aunties, and uncles, they don't care. Okay, they don't care.
Yeah, they probably don't.
They will bang you at the line. They will ram you with their trolley. They don't care. Okay, you get out of their way. Okay, so.
Or maybe they could be the coolest person you'll ever meet. And it's just so happens that they bring their Birkins at a wedding.
No, they're not coolest. They had 60, 70 years behind them. They're like, get out of my way.
Like, I'll wear what I want, okay?
I'll wear what I want. I'll say what I want. I'll do what I want.
Exactly.
And I laugh because, damn, I mean, in Singapore, it's definitely a little bit more professional, please. There's definitely a growing older population here. So I do bump into quite a few occasionally, and I feel attacked sometimes because and you have to give way, right? Because it's respect, but at the same time you're like, auntie, wait, give me a moment, hang on. I'm coming out. I'm stepping back. I'm stepping forward. Just give me a moment. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I wonder, like, I pray I don't turn out to be that way. But I get it. Okay, I get it. It's like I've had it with life.
Yeah, you'd probably be like that same entitled auntie in the future, probably. And I'm just not saying you. I think we all will be at one point because you've kind
at
of
the escalator, at the lift there, they're like pressing in. And they're right at the door. Like, whoa, okay, I'm coming. I love it. I love it.
So let me go through your comments. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a really funny chat.
Funny one.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing about it. Y'all are not there yet, I'm sure. Some of us are there, like the big bolide and the big gym bag. But yeah, we'll revisit this in a few. When we'll revisit this in 10 years, you're still around. I'll be like, I brought my big bolide
online. The old aunties online. Seriously, oh my goodness. I want to just like pull this comment because from Chris, proud to have the Kelly badge. Yay! As I celebrate my 3rd year with Kat and Amy's Luxee Committee. Yes, we appreciate you guys so much. Everyone, of course, but also especially the members. You're just a special bunch of people, and yeah, thank you so much. I honestly like.
I have to pull this from Ubi Bobe. I agree. I want to believe our generation of aunties and uncles will be different, but with every year, IDGA.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Wiser by the year, and then also really like
I don't care about and anything. I read this meme somewhere that says that with every year passing, as a meme or some comment, like with every year passing, I surprise myself how nasty I'm willing to walk out of house. Like in the past, I'll be like, oh, I gotta make sure, I wear the proper like tidy up the hair and like, dress up a little bit before I leave the house. But with every year that passes, I surprise myself that I'm willing to go uglier and uglier outside of the house. I'm like, oh, damn, these shorts got hole. Yep. So I agree. IDGAF.
AQ. My fiance uses a 20-year-old Epsom Evelyn. I didn't even know they make the Evelyn in Epsom. I don't think it will ever die. That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing. I've never seen an Evelyn in Epsom. That's so funny. Anyone familiar with Evercalf? Not me. I'm not. Have you seen?
Is Evercalf the same as Evercolor?
I don't know.
Not, or is it Evercalf? It's kind of similar to Swift, with bigger. I think with bigger grains, and it's a little bit more tough. But yeah, it's good leather. Touched it. I cannot remember. My toolbox is Evercolor. My toolbox is Evercolor. I
thought it was Swift.
I cannot remember now. I have to check.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Okay, I think you were trying to pull this comment, but maybe you didn't spend time on it. Kat, weren't you saying that heritage leathers were over romanticized?
They are. So I also agree with that opinion. Like they are just like so much more difficult to use, right? It's like, you got to maintain them. But given a chance, I still think I'd rather pick them over the Epsom. Just because of the feeling. Like if I want to get the whole package, I would pick, like if you give me a box and an Epsom or a Barania and Epsom, I think I'll still go with the heritage because I have the collection already. But if I don't, I would definitely stick with Epsom. I think Epsom is a very good starter bag to have. And you can, like, it's just good. Like, it's like caviar. Like, it's just good and less maintenance and hassle. But if I'm really honest, it just doesn't give me everything. Like compared to when I look at my box leather, I'm like, oh my God, you're so gorgeous. There is that whole, it's like the whole experience of being so beautiful and so nice that, you know, if as a bag lover, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. But I still think, yeah, like it's over because after you start using it, that's when you're like, okay, you gotta get over using heritage leathers. I think that's when heritage leathers become like your basic leathers. Once I can get over, say, Barania's scratches and discoloring, boxes, you know, scratches and over time patina, I think there's only good things to say about heritage leathers because so many people have said like they're just such workhorse bags in their own like Barania. You get water stain on it, sort of like goes away or something. I don't know. I don't have experience, but people say that. But you just got to get over that hump of it turning color and getting darker. Same with box, right? You got to get over that and then they really shine.
So the way I see heritage leather, since I don't have any, but the way I would be able to compare it experience-wise is the Vachetta from LV. Because when I got my very first, like obviously when I first got into LV, I didn't buy monogram bags right off the bat. I actually bought the pressed leather first, and then I went with the Damier Ben because for me it was a very unknown territory and kind of unsafe territory to go the patina route. But once I did go there and I kind of made up my mind that it's like my guinea pig, right? I use my Noe as my guinea pig bag too, because the Petit Noe has a very big base of just all raw vachetta, right? So I, got over the hump, like you said, but I still think because I've owned many monogram bags with vachetta, right? I still feel like maybe it's a personality thing, but after a while, I kind of get tired of the way that it's going to continue patinaing, even though I'm more than capable of keeping them in a nice condition, in a nice patina condition. But I kind of get tired of that state and I just don't want it anymore. So I wonder, right? Like, other than the romanticized thing, whatever, right? Like, I still wonder that maybe heritage leathers are just not for everybody because not everyone's going to enjoy and love that process or that quality of the leather, the aging patina, right? Like not everyone's gonna want that, and not everyone sees that as a quality actually.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really, it's I almost wonder if I would ever even go through that route of getting those leathers. Like I obviously would have thought or would have maybe like it might come across my mind here and there, but like to actually get it, I don't know if I would actually end up getting one just because I've gone through many LV bags like that. And I know they're different still, but I feel like it's the same process. Like you enjoy it at first and all that, and you trust that it can be buffed out or maybe the patina will even out and all that stuff, right? That same quality. But at the end, I just get tired and I just don't want it anymore. So.
Yep, I agree. I think the LV Vachetta leather is like when it gets too dark, that's when you sort of like, not sure. But maybe the people that actually take, like really take, like just they don't care, they just want the Barinia, they want the heritage, they actually,
They have
that
to
is
like
not,
it, I think.
yeah, they or it
They
doesn't
have to
even
like
occur to
it.
them. It's like people who buy the Vaquero, they're like, oh, it doesn't bother, it's just darker, and I've used my bag, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So that's an interesting, still kind of topic, I suppose. Okay, I wanted to pull this one also from Shiza. Maybe the H journey is a cure, antidote for shopping addiction. Tough love. Just speculating. I don't
maybe.
know. Maybe. Like I feel like I've never been more focused in my whole time. Well, before I was on social media and after I was on social media and sharing my all the purchases, right? I used to buy a bit more of everything, and now I just am not. And I'm
Mm,
totally not just fine with that. I'm actually happy about that. I feel like I'm less distracted. And I like that. That's what I'm trying to say too, in a way. It's still hard, don't get me wrong. It's so hard to wait, to have to spend a lot of money, to sometimes feel like you're a second class citizen. Like it's still, those are still all valid feelings. But at the same time, I'm happy with my own development. I make it sound like it's such a big deal, but I feel like it is, maybe, if you guys feel that way. I don't know. Because,
mm,
I also feel like there's this whole concept of like, oh, the customer is always right and this and that. And it may be true, and or maybe it's just a concept that we made up, and that it makes it easy for you as a customer and a consumer to feel entitled all the time, and that is not a good quality to have. And I feel like the fact that I've grown to become more patient, and even when it's so difficult, to have the patience to go through that and come out the other way and still have a great relationship with my store and continue the whole process, and or do it. I feel like that's actually nice. And I think I'm just happy for myself, not for the fact that, it's not the external validation. It's more like me validating myself. And I feel that's what I'm happy about, if that makes sense.
mm. Yeah, I think
Is it an
Canada is a
antidote?
different.
Maybe.
I think you're. I think for you it makes like total sense, like because it's just so challenging over there. So and at the same time, it's created more patience for you. So good job, Hermes journey.
We'll see how long that lasts. But anyway.
Okay, let me pull this one from the bottom because I think I saw repeated twice. I just couldn't find it at the top. Amy and Kat, will you consider buying an Hermes mini gypsy? I am debating if I will keep mine that I scored in Paris.
I have my
Mm,
opinion.
yeah, me too. No.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I actually tried this bag, so I can give a pretty good, constructive opinion. So I tried it in store. It was on display. I asked to try it, and I went in the fitting room to properly try it. So I, took out the strap, adjusted the strap to fit my crossbody, and I tried to open all the compartments with care, obviously. But no, it didn't click. In fact, I hated it. I thought it was so annoying to get in and out of the bag. And I was so surprised at how small it is. Like it doesn't
Mm.
fit very much.
It's
And the
quite
fact that
bulky, right?
yeah. Like I said, it looks big, but once you try to put things in it, it's very small. And also, I hated that they put a web, like a fabric strap. It's so cheap. It
Is
cheapened
it?
the
I can't remember. Is it fabric?
pretty sure it was fabric, unless I am confusing myself. I'm pretty sure it was fabric because I never tried an
No.
Evelyn. So I know the Evelyn has a fabric strap. Pretty sure the Egyptia has a fabric strap. And
Oh
that's the only
yeah, I
one I
think
tried.
so.
And I didn't love it. I just felt like, oh, and the price. The price was, I mean, all Hermes bags are expensive, don't get me wrong, but the price for what it is, like the construction, the how hard it is to get in, the fabric strap, all those things just really, I didn't understand the bag at all. So I know it's a lot of negative, but that's my review of it, if I had to give it in a nutshell.
Yeah, same. I think the bag, I haven't tried it before, but I've seen it because I was thinking, if there was a non-quota bag, what would be interesting to get from the store, right? Or even resale market. So I looked at the Halzan and I looked at the Gypsy, but the Gypsy, because of the flap, the way it's like fully like one big flap over, and you gotta pull it over. I mean, you gotta open it, and then when you close it, you gotta get it like right at the hole, right? I don't know. It didn't look convenient, because when I think of crossbody bags and I consider things that are not like non-quota, I'm really considering the factor of functionality and convenience. That one just doesn't seem convenient to me. So hearing you say that you've tried it and you see that it doesn't fit much, yeah,
It's deceivingly small. So I am wondering if you are petite, if you're having some of those thoughts, like if anything we said resonated with you, because that's my first impression, and I feel like I'm pretty spot on when it comes to reviewing bags. Like if my first impression with the bag is bad, I won't even entertain it. Like I won't just buy it because it's offered to me or if it's available. Like, that's just a waste of my time, a waste of my money. Obviously you didn't know that. Like you probably did like the bag, but there are people that like it. That's the weird thing. I just, maybe for me, I just didn't see why. So you have to think about those reasons and see. Yeah, just buy it and just sell it and buy another one. Buy something else. That's what I say.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna quickly pull. Right. You pull Chris one first.
Okay, sure. Amy, if you reside in Singapore, will you have the same mindset? I feel like if I was in Singapore and I went through what you guys went through, how, especially at the time that you went through it, where you're able to, and I feel like it's fair, like you spend 1-to-1, get a bag, like usually, right? You still have to wait for it and everything. I feel like if I had that treatment and then all of a sudden it's different, and on top of that, the most important thing is that the difference in the availability in the secondhand market for you guys, and the secondhand market, it's not like the bags are old, they're all new bags. Like here, the secondhand market, there's a lot of old bags and you just don't know the condition sometimes, unless it says new. But even then, I'm like quite sensitive to like if that person used perfume, if they had, I don't know, cigarettes and all that, like that also bothers me. And even though it's a bag, for me to air out that scent is gonna be, I might not even want to go through that process. For me, I'm that picky when it comes to even buying resale. But anyway, having the option, so much option in Singapore, maybe I will feel the same way as you do. But I feel like just because I'm here and I feel like I just have no other choice, not technically, but in a way I have no other choice if I'm that picky, then yeah, I think that's where the difference lies.
Okay, this is also a comment from Chris, but she's saying that you girls have IG backup accounts, as I saw on the feed that Hello Catwalk IG was being disabled.
Oh,
This IG, I created a backup account a while ago. I think during the pandemic, but I don't really promote it. But if I need to, at least it's up already. You should have a backup account because these things can just suddenly happen. All of you, if you're on IG, just get yourself a backup account. Just create one, let it float in the air so that at least it lives for a while. Have one following, follow yourself, because they have this AI that's just taking they just assume that if you're sharing bags or you're talking, showing something else, there's a likelihood that you're a fake account or something, and then you cannot speak to anyone Okay, there's no human IG person to talk to you. So it'll take a while. I don't know how are they gonna fix it.
I don't have one, but I do have my closet account, which not that many people follow because that's different.
That's not bad.
But yeah, I don't know because should I like create one? Like I just feel like am I as all of you, are you guys all just gonna follow my backup account now if I created one? I mean, it's just
Because
I
you
feel,
can create one, but you're not posting on it, right? And people just follow first. And because you're not going to spam people with that account. So that's what I did. I just posted one image. I think it was when I got my Birkin, and I just kept it floating somewhere. So if I ever need to activate it, at least I can, rather than rush to create one. So better to have one, especially if you've got quite a few followers.
I wonder what happened to like what triggered the algorithm for her.
Yeah, and if it gets triggered, how are you gonna find it? There's no, I mean, it's just so challenging to make a report, get everybody to help you make a report, blah blah blah. Such a pain.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I think there was a few other. You're at the top, right? Oh yeah, this is a funny one. Saw my stories about my Miu Miu pearl. Please keep it away. Yeah, I agree. So my little Nato doesn't really bite things in the house, but for some reason she took a liking to my Miu Miu sandals, the pearl. And I was like, "Can you stop biting my shoe?" She kept pulling my shoe, but I didn't really pay attention to what she was doing with my shoe because she will pull my shoe to the side, and then she will sort of sit on it, and I'll be like, okay, I guess you like my feet smell, you. Then just yesterday, I was looking at I was like, you have been gnawing at the pearl. Then I have one shiny pearl and one matte.
Oh.
Half eaten. I was like, ah! But now, I gave her a good yelling. I'm like, and she totally obviously doesn't understand. So
yeah.
but now she's staying away from my shoe. She's like, something about this shoe is making my mom yell really
They
loud.
think it's a toy. She thinks it's a toy, maybe. The shiny toy.
Shiny round ball that she's like, like, oh my god, it's like, what is it? You eat the shell, candy,
Yeah.
you eat outside the candy and then you leave the ball there. What?
Oh no. I'm gonna pull this one because at least one person is agreeing with me. Yeah. Unpopular opinion, J.W. Miller, but I personally enjoyed the H game. It's like your practice for mind game playing, it's
you like the torture. You like the
challenge.
The playing it hard to get. The playing hard to get.
It's a lot of pull and pull. Like you have to find the right moment to ask for what you want, but also be giving be the one giving some, like your giving is like your pre-spend, right? Like helping your SA with their commission, so you're buying the things but still looking after your interest, like buying what you want, and hopefully they will reciprocate that. And it's a little bit of push and pull, and it's a dance. It's literally I mean, when they say relationship, it really is one.
I have a funny story. So I think the last time I went to H, it was a month ago. But I haven't contacted my SA at all. And today's the 3rd of August, right? So on the 1st of August, my new SA texts me, there's this new pair of shoes. And I text back, I said I said, wow, the timing, on the 1st of the month, new month, new target, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
It is 1st of the month, right? New target, new month. And then I laughed, and then my SA said like, no, stock just came in. I'm like, yeah, right. Right on the first of the month. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. But that's the way you gotta, it's a bit of like, you gotta help them, they'll help you. But wow.
Yeah, it's
First
it
lah,
is
I
what
mean,
it
at least
is.
the second lah.
I feel like because Hermes is like I said earlier, oh, the customer is always right, right? But the thing is, like, Hermes has its own whole level of leverage that nobody else has. Chanel a little bit too, but Hermes especially, and it's totally a different type of customer and SA relationship because it's not always about them providing the service and you're the king because the customer is king. It's a little bit of back and forth with Hermes, or maybe a lot of
Yeah.
back and forth, right? It's totally different. It's a totally different mind game, which is why, like I said, it's the total beast when it comes to you yourself controlling your urges and all kinds of things, right? It's a huge learning curve, and yeah, there's a lot of discoveries. I mean, it could still be quite fun as long as you figure out what works for you.
We don't. Why nobody's giving us any unpopular opinions? Everybody's so nice. Nobody has some sound like violent opinion. Violent. I mean, there are so many. I have so many in my head. I have so many. We should do it again. Should we do this video? I mean, should we do another live
Yeah,
like
we
this
should
again?
do a part two. I mean, it will be
we should
harder
make it
to
like
think
a
of
series.
better.
Unpopular opinion. There are a lot. There are a lot of unpopular opinions. We should.
Yeah, we could do
Get
that on a
enough
monthly
votes.
basis, maybe. The thing is, like, it'll get less juicy and juicy unless something new happens. Because I mean,
not too
it
often, but
was kind of hard to even come up with a list because, as much as I say, oh yeah, don't get offended, but there's at the back of my mind, there's always going to be someone who's like, oh, I'm just saying, like, there's
the point.
all kinds
That's
of
the
people,
point.
right?
It's your opinion. It's your opinion.
There is no question mark on this one, but I guess I will pull it. I never really talked about it. Hi, Amy. I've been loving your Hawaii vlogs. Wondering if you still work with Joyo. I think you switched essay. Just curious about your experience. I think you also had another question below, like more further down. Yeah, it's not that I really like switched essay because like I had his contact the first time I met up with him. That's the essay that I used. And I had a great shopping experience with him. And then the second time around that I went back, which is like almost a year and a half later, he was not available. So I wasn't able to get a hold of him. And I remember back then, even the first meeting, he told me that as far as I know, he said, right? That's what he said, not verbatim, but basically what he said. He's like, in the Hawaii, like in Hermès, no matter if it's Hawaii or worldwide, which I don't believe so, but maybe he's speaking for the Hawaii store, that it doesn't matter who your essay is because whatever you purchase, it goes onto your profile. So whoever you work with, they should be able to help you out. That's what he told me. So I took it as a like, oh, okay, I guess it's like not as important to stay with the same person. Like I was actually a little bit shocked that he told me that, but at the same time I'm like, well, I am a tourist, so it's not like I see him every month. So for him to say that, maybe it made sense because I'm not a local. And yeah, so that's what happened. I did have a different essay this time. So it's a little bit challenging, I will say, just because I think shopping as a tourist, you're not on their mind constantly, right? It's not like you're going back every month or every few weeks, so it's not fresh in anybody's mind. But I think as long as you are again truly enjoying the process, right? Like you're truly going there because you want to buy those things. For me, when I go to Hawaii, I am looking for the things that are out of stock in Vancouver that I already know I want. And so I get those things and more, some more things that I never even seen online or in Vancouver, but they have. And so you kind of form that new relationship or that new transaction with that new person, and then you just genuinely ask like, oh, like, do you happen to have this bag, interested in this, that? And if that essay is willing to help you, they'll ask you back, oh, so what are you looking for? And so I think it's a little bit of like, in terms of advice, I feel like you just have to really go with the flow, because I feel like as a tourist, because you're not a local, you have very little power in a way. Because if you're a local, you can wait forever, right? You can work with the same essay, always contact the same person, shop with the same person. And you're local, so you can wait as long as possible just to get exactly what you want, right? As a person who's traveling there and only has a very limited amount of time, if they don't have what you want, you either accept what they offer you if they have an offer, or you don't. So I feel like it's just a little bit of luck involved, timing, and as well as your ability to just really, really like go naturally, because it's so easy to get upset if you don't get anything out of it, right? But you have to go in like, you really buy those things because you really wanted them to in the first place. And if it comes with an offer, even better. But I think it's hard to expect that to happen. Yeah, that's the best thing I can tell you, because yeah, there's no other way. You're not a local, so it's really hard.
Yeah, they'll just like, you know, sort of almost entertain you a little bit. I mean, they'll get something out of you, but unless you're a regular tourist, that's a different thing, almost like a local. But other than that, I think
yeah, the other thing I was also thinking possibly why Joyo or the previous essay said that is probably because he has a lot of clients. He's made so popular on social media that I feel like he has a million people to service. And I also know for a fact that this store, the Waikiki store, is super busy. Every time I pass by, there's a lineup. And so it's a little bit hard in a way, but as long as you're truly, committed to your own experience, and if you click with someone, as in like if the person who ends up helping you is actually helpful and you actually do buy the things that you like, and then you have that like natural chemistry with like the conversation, it's a little transactional, but it's also a little bit of like, oh, if they like, you end up liking each other, you'll help each other in a way, right? So hopefully that person will end up helping you out. But yeah, I feel like I was really lucky with my last offer, because I was there for the 7 days, and on the first day I went there for the shopping. So I did all the shopping on the first day, and there was no bags at that time, but I did ask. And so she told me that she'll see what will come in, because they do have a shipment coming in that week. So that's what she had told me. And so I kind of had a bit of hope, like, but not knowing what. And so it was a little bit of luck and timing involved as well.
yeah, I see some comments about going to Hawaii as a group trip.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. Oh my gosh. I think we should do that eventually.
Oh, this is a good. So if we do this, yeah, an unpopular opinion again, we should totally do this. Not this one. Sorry, this one. You should do. Have viewers submit your question, like your unpopular opinion on IG. Yes, you can do that. We can group them up. And here's one from Julie. Orans are comfortable. I know this one.
Oh,
Amy's
they're
like,
not.
no.
They're not. They're so uncomfortable. I cannot.
They're okay. They're okay. They're loud though. They're like
They
pop,
don't
pop, pop,
stay
pop, pop.
on my feet at all. They don't stay.
When you walk down the stairs on Orans, you have arrived. Like arrived, okay? Pop, 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 pop. Going down the staircase. And they are so loud. Oh my gosh. But yeah. They're okay. They're okay. They are flat, but for me, they're pretty comfy. Yeah, they're pretty comfy.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, here
noisy.
I found the questions because I saw this earlier. So yeah, I feel like it's really a lot of like you I think I think as a person traveling to a destination and hoping for any kind of offer, right? Whether it's a quota, non-quota bag, you really have to be the one willing to do the the buying first and to
Mm.
for your own sake not expect a bag in return, but hopefully. And I would actually play it by year too, because if you end up working with someone who's kind of just like like giving you attitude, then I actually would just walk out of that. I would just be like, oh, nothing fits. Because I also still want someone to like, as much as I will give my respect, I want that person to also be pleasant with me. And I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, it has to be a two-way street, right? So I feel like that's the main advice I would give you. Like, you have to be willing to do some spending, because at the end of the day, they still look at your profile. I'm sure she checked what I had bought previously plus what I bought this time, and then it was enough for her to offer me something, because otherwise I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gotten an offer.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a little bit of back and forth.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's a 2 hour. I was still looking through but I think we went through everything because you were in the bottom, right?
From the bottom.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed today. I thought it was super fun. We should have part
Yeah.
two, and then
Told
part
you.
two should be coming from you
Popular.
guys. Yeah. So yeah, schedule is back on track on our community post. Next week is a members live on my channel, so we'll see you there. It's gonna be a fun episode as well. A little bit,
and we have a
different
guest.
from usual.
Our calendar didn't show it, but at the end of the month we have a guest.
Yes.
And Oksana is joining us, so there'll be a slight change on the schedule. So look out for that.
Yeah. I actually put it in the comment section on my post too. But yeah, it will be a different timing for her episode in like 4 weeks' time. But we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.